In this tutorial, we're going to look at special characters, and we're going to learn some new tags like small, strong, and emphasize. Special characters are usually some characters that you may not have on the keyboard. We'll commonly use these with things like the copyright symbol. Since you don't have a copyright symbol on your keyboard, we'll type ampersand. The and sign is called an ampersand, copy, semicolon. And then another one that we'll use a ton is this non-breaking space, MBSP. And it's empty here because it creates like what a tab would in Microsoft Word. So it's basically just a couple of horizontal spaces. And you'll see what that looks like in a later project. So in your Google Drive shared folder in your Chapter 2 files, there's a document called HP 2-9. So pause the video and find that in your files. In this project, we have what currently looks like this, okay? And if you want to follow along in the book, this is on page 46 and 47. So if you want to work straight from the book, feel free, but if not, complete the rest of this tutorial. And then this is what we want it to look like. So let's compare these two. Remember those pictures you saw in elementary school where you had to find the differences or spot the differences between the two pictures? That's what we're going to do here, okay? So what are the differences between these two pages? One, these are bold. So these first little phrases after our bulleted list or in our bulleted list, they are bold and larger. We did those with the strong tag, okay? Then also notice that the text here keeps going, but we want this text to appear on a line below the bulleted list. If we added another LI tag for these, it would put another bullet there. That's not what we want. So we will use a break tag to get these to the next line. And then there's some small things like here, you see this is italicized and it's not italicized over here. This is italicized and not italicized over here. And then we have this really long dash, and you can't make a dash that long on your keyboard, so we'll learn the special character to make that. And then we see this text is really large over here, but it's much smaller over here, and we don't have our copyright symbol there. Okay, so we're going to mark up this HP 2-9 so that it looks like this one instead of this one. So let's get started. The first thing is determine the intended audience is supposed to be bold. So we'll use the strong tag for that. When you open a strong tag in code, it automatically closes it. So we need to drag this tag after the word audience. Okay? Now, once you complete something, especially as we're first getting started, check your work in the browser every time. So do Alt-B and look at what happened. See, it made it bold. Okay? Now we want this on the next line. So come over. We're going to add a break tag after that closing strong tag. And if we go back to our browser, there we go. It's on a new line. Okay? This phrase, preference of your audience, we want to be emphasized. The emphasize tag is an EM. So EM in front of the word preferences, and our close EM will be after our period there. Okay? All right, let's try the second one. On the second list item, after your opening LI tag, open a strong tag. We're going to move that closing strong tag to after the word cite. We want this to appear on the next line below, so we'll add a break. Let's do the third one. Strong tag before the word determine. And then it's going to go all the way through sitemap. So we'll move our closing strong tag there. Let's add a BR. Okay. Now this one, we're going to do several things to. Okay. So let's do our strong tag first. After the opening LI tag, and it'll go all the way through tentative page layout. Be consistent needs to start on the next line, so we'll enter a break. Then this we want to appear emphasized like we did preferences of your audience up here. So we'll add an EM tag set. And move that after the word consistent. Okay? Now the next thing we see, we need to add this long dash. And the long dash, I put a comment here. We'll talk about comments later on, but the comments do not appear in your code. Okay, they appear in your code, but they don't appear when you load your page. So this is for people that are editing your code to give them more information, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, to add an M dash, before the word color, type an ampersand, that's shift and 7, M dash semicolon. And it will appear in a different color depending on what color theme you're using. So now we have an M dash there. Okay, let's check and see how we're looking so far. Looks good so far. Okay, the last thing we need to do is fix this copyright section. So we want this whole section to be a smaller size, so we're going to use the small tag set. The opening small will start right after the paragraph, and this closing small needs to be before that paragraph closes. Okay? Here we want a copyright symbol. Again, remember this is a comment. It doesn't show up on your browser window, but it does show up in here as like a note for us. So before this 2016, we're going to type an ampersand, copy, semicolon. Okay? All right, so let's view our page one last time and make sure we look good, and it looks great. So double check, make sure everything is correct, and come back for the next tutorial.